Have you ever wanted to put a chuck roast on a smoker? In today's video, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Today's a collaboration with my barbecue bro, Moonshine Roadhouse. I'll have his information down below in the description box. We were talking and we wanted to do a collaboration and we decided smoked chuck roast is what we're gonna do. So make sure you check his channel out. We're gonna make a Mississippi smoked pot roast or chuck roast on our pits and spits today, and I can't wait to show you it. If this is your first time here, make sure you hit the subscription button and the bell so you can keep track of this barbecue journey. Let's get to it. Alright addicts, and here we've got our chuck roast that we're working with. This is a Angus chuck roast, as you can see. I got it at my local store, $13.37 total price. We're gonna make this bad boy taste amazing. So let's go ahead and get this out of the package. And for today's chuck roast, we're gonna be putting some Young Bucks brisket rub on here. I love this seasoning. We're gonna be adding a ton of flavor during our cook with the Mississippi pot roast recipe. So we're gonna hit it early on with some salt, pepper, garlic, which is exactly what's in this brisket rub. So let's go ahead and get this seasoned up. It's got some pretty decent marbling on it. We're gonna be cooking this till it reaches about 165 degrees internal, and then we'll be adding even more flavors to it and wrapping it up to make it fork tender. And we're gonna wanna smoke it until it's to about 210 degrees internal. Make sure we get all the sides. I love this seasoning. I'll have the information down below in the description box where you can get this at Young Bucks. They've got some awesome seasonings. We've got some excess seasoning on the board, so we're just gonna go ahead and get it all over the edges here. That's perfect. Just wipe it up a little bit. That's what we're looking like. I'm gonna go ahead and let this set for about 5 minutes or so and really adhere to our meat. And next time I see y'all, we'll throw it on the grill. All right, y'all, we've got the pits and spits up to 260 degrees using a blend of apple, pellets, and hickory. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down. Our chuck roast is on our top shelf, our top rack. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this down and we'll check on it in 2 hours. All right, y'all, we actually have let this ride for about 3 hours now, and I had to run some errands, so I backed it down to 220 degrees for that time. Let's go ahead and take a peek at the temperature and see where we are. Right around 150 there. Over 160 there. So what I'm gonna say is it's time to go ahead and get a pan and put this in it, and let's add all the great flavors that's gonna make this Mississippi pot roast. It's got a beautiful color to it. Alright y'all, we've got this beautiful chuck roast pulled off the pits and spits. It's got an awesome bark, it's still juicy. Now's how we turn it into a Mississippi pot roast. And for chuck roasts, I think this is an important factor to add the moisture to them. They don't have the same fat content that, say, a brisket would. So let's go ahead and get this all flavored up for this Mississippi pot roast. And I have a bigger pan than I'd like, but this will do. We're gonna go ahead and use some beef broth today. We're gonna go ahead and add a good amount to line the bottom of the pan. And again, this is going to make sure that we get some moisture in this chuck roast, and it's gonna help with it being fork tender when it's done cooking. We've got the smoke flavor we're looking for. Now we're looking to add some extra flavors. And next we're going to add our peppercini juice, and I've got a few pepperoncinis I'll add in there as well. Just go ahead and dump that in right over the chuck roast and into the beef broth as well. I love pepperoncinis. I thought about using some jalapenos but decided against it. We'll see what this flavor does just by itself, but add a couple pepperoncinis in there. And next up we're going to use some au jus gravy mix, just the powder. Man, that smells awesome. Let's go ahead and get that into the mix as well. Just sprinkle it all around. I'll probably add a little bit more beef broth just because we got a bigger pan, like I said, but sprinkle it all around and on your chuck roast. Get that flavor profile in there, just like that. And last but not least, this right here is going to kick it up a whole nother notch. We've got some Hidden Valley ranch style dressing seasoning, some powder here. And this is the buttermilk recipe, so we're going to do the same thing that we did with the au jus and get that incorporated everywhere as well, and also on our chuck roast and pepperoncinis. This is going to go with a crazy good element of flavor in this chuck roast. That's what we're looking like there. And like I said, I'm going to add a little bit more of this beef broth to the lining of our pan. It'll help mix up those powders as well. And that's what we're looking like. Let me bring y'all in for a close-up, and then I'm going to close it down with some foil, put it back on the pits and spits, crank it up to 300 degrees, and after all that, next time I see y'all, we'll give it a try. Alright everybody, here we have our smoked chuck roast or smoked pot roast that we put the twist of the Mississippi pot roast ingredients into it. And we cooked this to about 210 degrees internal. And this is a beautiful chuck roast. It's smelling awesome. And hopefully it's pull apart tender with forks. We let it rest for about 20 minutes as well. I'm going to go ahead and shred this up, get some of these juices incorporated on the inside of this chuck roast, and then we're going to plate it up. While we are shredding this apart, remember, go check out my barbecue brother, Moonshine. I will have his information down below in the description box. He's going to do a smoked chuck roast as well. This is a collaboration with him. This is looking beautiful. Jeez, so juicy. Smells awesome. You can really smell the Hidden Valley Ranch seasoning packet. Smell that au jus, the beef broth, and that smoke. So the Pits and Spits did a great job. Like I mentioned earlier, I had some errands to run and it did not miss a beat. So I will have the information for Pits and Spits down below in the description box as well. If you want to check them out, tell Coy that What's New Barbecue sent you. Man, this is looking beautiful. You can shred this up and make some sandwiches or put this on some fried rice or mashed potatoes. This is gonna be a heck of a meal for however you decide to incorporate it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a little bit of this plated up, and we're gonna give it a taste test and recap on how we cooked it. Man, if y'all could smell the smells in the kitchen today. Jeez, look at that. Got plenty of juice, beautiful smoke ring. Got some of those pepperoncinis in here too. Again, this is a nice twist on a chuck roast. You don't have to cook this on the smoker. You could do the same concept in a crock pot, and it's going to be awesome as well. This just puts a nice smoky element on it. Shout out to Moonshine Roadhouse, and make sure you check him out. Tell him What's New Barbecue sent you. Without talking too much more, I'm going in for a bite. Gotta get me some beef, some peppers, plenty of juice. Man. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. Cheers, Moonshine. Wow. Now, I've made this a lot of times, and every single time it is amazing. Tons of flavor. You taste that spiciness from the pepperoncinis, the beef broth, the seasoning from the Hidden Valley Ranch, and the smokiness from that chuck roast. I gotta get me another bite. I suggest you mix it in with all of it. A little bit of pepper, a little bit of chuck roast, some juice. Cheers. Wow. And that Young Bucks brisket rub just puts a nice brisket element to this chuck roast recipe. I appreciate y'all for stopping by What's New Barbecue. Until next time, y'all keep on barbecuing.